There will be feasting and dancing in Jerusalem next year. I am gonna make it through this year if it kills me.
Eboo Patel is no doubt an amazing speaker. He did a fantastic job of captivating his audience and enthralling them in his message of hope and optimism. And he should be commended for that. But I don't know if all of his renown is completely deserved. His message was essentially academia-centered. His ideas may have a place on college campuses, but they don't seem to have a place in the larger context of American society. What university students accept is essentially different from what mainstream America accepts. I may have conservative friends on campus, but none of them are as militant as the evangelical talk show hosts who inhabit the airwaves or the RV-driving patriots that attend anti-secular festivals. And that makes sense. Going to college is a recognition that you don't know everything. There are other people who have gone before you that better understand what has happened and how to respond to it. This is especially true in the sciences. We're usually not just making stuff up as we go, but it's no less valid in the liberal arts. To any academic, the best way to learn is to study those who have gone before you and see how they responded to the situations, regardless of what tradition they were in. But that's not what fundamentalism and religious extremism are about, at least not when talking about fundamentalist Christianity. The idea behind the entire movement is that Scripture is inerrant and the fundamental truths of God are self-evident in reading of that Scripture. This means that there is no need for a religio-academic gentry to interpret the hard truths of the Bible. To them, there are no hard truths. There is only the truth, and that requires no interpretation. That is the point that Mr. Patel missed. When he told the heartwarming stories of Martin Luther King working with Rabbi Heschel, he failed to accentuate that both were exceedingly learned men. King may have come from a long line of clergy, but he was definitely no ordinary pastor. This is evidence in the fact that he literally changed the course of history. The reason we read so much about King is precisely because he was not the standard. A single example is never a proof that something can work. But why can it work, you might ask? It's because the problem isn't essentially a religious one, it's a socioeconomic one. People ascribe to faiths based upon hate because they are afraid, and people get scared because A, they have no position in the world and can barely survive, as is the case with many extremist Muslims who feel rejected because of how badly their part of the world has been treated, or B, they are afraid of losing their status, as is true of many Bible-thumping Americans. In essence, the problem has less to do with the works of Augustine and Abu Bakr than with Marx and Machiavelli. The people of the world have been stratified. We even have fun names for these things. First versus third world, developed versus undeveloped, the G8 versus, well, everybody else. No wonder those religions can't get along. It's not that their holy books teach such essentially different truths, but more that they come from such different backgrounds that there is no common ground. Until we solve the more immediate problems of poverty and injustice, we can scarcely hope for true religious pluralism. At the top of the socioeconomic/academic ladder, maybe it can work. As long as a person's fairly rich, Muslims and Christians seem to get along with Hindus and Sikhs just fine. And maybe those people can work for interfaith movement. And maybe that interfaith work for social justice and the betterment of society can make a difference. But that movement is essentially the same one that has been advocated for so many years. It's just a rebranding to me. For me, direct service is always best. I don't care who is who. I just want to help and serve. If interfaith for you gives you an impetus to serve, that's awesome. Use that. For me, it's just a complication of an already messed up world.
Well, I may never know, so I'll just give until there's nothing